Let's talk about consistency. It's a hot topic word. You hear it talked about a lot. But what does it really mean? What is it really doing to our pipeline, to our business, to our marketing machines, to everything we're trying to do with real estate investing, with wholesaling, with flipping, whatever the case is? Consistency is the key to everything you do. And I don't mean that, oh, we have to spend the same amount of money every day. Not necessarily, right? It's about consistent actions. It's about consistency in the key metrics that matter the most, right? So do we have to call 100 people a day? Maybe. If calling 100 people a day creates inconsistency in our connections per day, we're not being consistent down the pipeline. So a lot of people get to consistency in actions or in marketing, right? You spend a bunch right now, you get a bunch of marketing out, and then you stop because now you're tackling all those leads, right? So you do this wave up and down, and then 6 months down the line, a year down the line, you're going, man, I had 3 deals last month, I got nothing this month, I got nothing on the board for next month, I don't understand what's going on. What's going on is your inconsistency day to day, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, is leading to inconsistency in deals today. So how do we solve the problem? Well, one, we got to understand what needs to be consistent every day. Two, we need to understand how we can create consistency without us having to be consistent. Because whether it's us or a salesperson or somebody on the team, there's going to be disruption. It's a human element. There's going to be disruption how consistent that person is. So that's where we use systems. It's where we use things like drip campaigns or drip follow-ups. Different components that are inside of systems to have things working in the background for us so that we have consistent actions happening even if somebody's off that day, right? Even if somebody is a little bit off on how they are operating that week, we know that other pieces are staying consistent. So we can just focus on that one piece. So here's a couple tips for you really quickly on consistency. It's pretty simple. I think you understand it. It does not necessarily mean consistent actions every day, but if you have nothing else figured out, do consistent actions every day and the rest of it will become consistent, right? This is part of habit building and how we just get that automatic happening every day. So definitely recommend that, but make sure that you're looking at being consistent on the right things, right? Do you need to generate new lead activity? Yes, but you also need to be tackling the stuff that you've already spoken to that needs to be moved down the pipeline. Right? So if every day you're like, I'm consistent every day on cold outreach, but I'm inconsistent week to week on the follow-ups, you're gonna have an issue with deal consistency. It's the same problem. So you have to be consistent not only on the one thing, but through the pipeline. What you're trying to do is maintain level actions at every step of the pipeline, no matter what. 1 week, you may be able to only make 50 calls a day, and that gets you the connects and the contracts you need, right? That's just what happens in it all. By measuring those KPIs, we know how to be consistent with everything. And here's the thing I'll tell you that is probably the biggest piece of it. A lot of people are very quick to spend money on marketing, right? I know I have to spend money. I'm ready to spend money. Let me just get the ball rolling and spend it. So they say, okay, I've got $3,000 or I've got $5,000 to spend on marketing. Let me spend it as quickly as possible and generate leads as quickly as possible. This is not how you create consistency. It sounds so obvious, but if you spend $5,000 on marketing today and then you don't spend for 2 months and then you spend again on month 4, you're not going to create consistency. Deals move way too fast to be doing it that way. Or even once I see people pull a list once a year and then market to that list throughout the year. So this is not how you create consistency. The way you do this is to say, okay, I have $5,000 I'm going to spend on marketing. How do I spend $1,000 a week for 5 weeks or $500 a week for 10 weeks? Spread it, make it a 90-day thing, make it a 60-day thing. Anytime anybody says, hey, I've got $5,000 I want to spend on marketing, I go, the immediate question is, okay, how much do you want to spend a month for the next 3 months? Without disruption, if you do 0 deals for the next 3 months, what can you commit to spending a month? That's the way you need to think about it, because that allows you to test, it allows you to get results along the way, it allows you to create consistency and lead flow over a bunch of weeks instead of here's 1,000 leads that now you're trying to get back in touch with. It allows you to get fresh blood in your pipeline consistently. So every step of your pipeline is constantly churning and moving forward instead of This churns real quick, spits over here, and then you move into this seat, and then you move into this seat. If you're constantly hopping seats like that, nothing ever becomes consistent. So automate the stuff you can, sure, but more importantly, focus on what does consistency mean? What do the numbers need to look like day to day, week to week, month to month? What needs to be happening every day, every week, every month in order to create the most efficiency in your process and what you're doing? If you do that and you stick to those numbers and you measure them and you adjust slightly off of them, you'll get to just a consistent pattern of what happens week to week. Consistency is the key to everything. It's the difference between you doing deals and struggling for deals and getting some this month and not getting any next month and going up and down versus you actually building a machine, building a business that can operate the same way with predictability, with insight, with numbers that you can put in front of you that tell you exactly what's going on and what's working and what's not working. That's where the consistency will come from, and it'll feed itself. Focus on the simple actions, start doing those consistently every day, move down the pipeline, get the results consistent every day. If you get a day or a week where the results are off, go back and look at your actions. Were they up? Were they down? Do I need to double them? Do I need to uptick them? Very simply, consistently look at what you're doing every day and analyzing and adjusting, and you'll create consistency in what comes out in your results.